Hey, this is Paige again. It's May 28th. It's about 9:45 in the evening. I've just come back from my Monday evening meeting. It is a Monday. It's Memorial Day. So it's been a long weekend. It's been an especially long weekend for me because I took Friday off. My daughter was here. And I'll talk about that more later. But the last time I made my video, I talked about needing to talk to Laura about transitioning on the job. I haven't been able to do that, but I wanted to keep you in progress. I did make progress. Actually, the day after I made that video, my friend Chris, who I don't know if I've told you, broke his leg, his foot, about a month ago now, and he's been on crutches, and so he doesn't go out to lunch. We don't get to go to lunch anymore very often, but 2 weeks ago, tomorrow, Chris had a meeting outside of the office early in the morning, I think 9:30, and he asked me to go because I'd been helping with the case, but I couldn't go. I had other things to do. So Chris went to this meeting by himself, and then he was coming back. It was about 4 blocks away. And he called me right at 11 o'clock and said, "Will you meet me for lunch at Ghost," which is one of my favorite restaurants. So I did. I wasn't really hungry, but I wanted to spend some time with him, and it was early. So when I met him there, the place was almost empty, and I realized that I probably wouldn't get some alone time with Chris, maybe for another month or so. And Chris has always been someone I felt that I needed to tell individually. Chris is the younger man attorney that I travel with a lot and have sort of mentored. He had me over to his family's house for Christmas dinner, and we were pretty close. We are pretty close. So I realized that it was a good time to tell him, and I did. And he took it pretty well. There were a whole lot of wows from Chris. He would sit there and for a minute and go, "Wow." And he asked me some questions about my sexuality and stuff, which I let him know, is sort of a non-issue. And over the next 3 or 4 days, he came into my office every day for a little bit and talked to me. It was all very gentle. He had questions. He was wondering whether this might be being transgender. It might be the reason that I was some things in my past life, multiple marriages and things like that. Was this the cause of it, or was I looking for a cause for this? And I explained to him no. Gave him more of an explanation, if you will. But he's been completely friendly since then. He hasn't changed one bit. He traveled a lot last week, so I didn't get to see a lot of him. But he was pretty normal. And he told his wife, and she said, "We'll have to have him over for dinner," or her. I don't know which gender she used. But they seemed very open, which is good news. And it made me very anxious to tell Laura. So on the following Thursday, I was meeting with Laura late in the day after 5 o'clock about our case that we had to try together. And we were having a really good conversation. And I've known her for many years. And that she was very relaxed, and the flow between us was good. And so I said, "Laura, I have to tell you something personal. It's very personal, but it's important." Before I could launch into it, she said, "Well, I hope it's nothing bad." And I said, No, it's good, but it's important and it's personal." And she then begged off, saying, "Well, I'm just so too frazzled about this case. Why, let's do it after the trial sometime." So I said, okay. I didn't really have any choice. So I didn't get to say it. And then last weekend, we were very busy. I worked some at home. And Monday we worked together. And Tuesday the client came in and prepped for the trial. Wednesday we started the trial. We're in trial all day. And Thursday the trial ended about noon, and we met with the client again and called the general counsel. And then another client had an emergency back east. And so Laura had to deal with that. And my daughter was coming in. She was here in December. She came in again on Thursday afternoon. And I had to leave to pick her up. Of course, I picked her up as her father. I was in a suit. And I really hope it's the last time I have to put that on. And we had a wonderful time together. Just a wonderful time. My dressing wasn't an issue. I dressed all day Friday. We took off. We went up into the mountains and to Breckenridge and had a nice lunch together. And then we met my friend Danielle for dinner and had a nice dinner, and then went to the Black Crown. And the next morning, I dressed, and she went with me to my Saturday morning meeting, and then we went to lunch, and then we went shopping, and we did some other things and came home and went out to dinner again. So I was dressed all day Friday and Saturday, and yesterday, Sunday, I spent the day as her father, and we just sort of hung around my home, hung pictures, family pictures, got things out, talked about family members, and she cooked a really nice dinner. She's a great cook, and she cooked a nice dinner. We watched a lot of Food Network shows, and it was just really nice not to have to go anywhere. And this morning, I got up early and drove her to the airport. And so that's that. That went well. I'm happy. I am anxious about when I'm going to get to talk to Laura. My relationship with Jim is good. It's strong. He had an operation this week. He's had a gallbladder attack, and they had to take his gallbladder out. And for a while on Saturday, I really thought he was dead. Because they were supposed to operate at 9:30 in the morning, and he wasn't answering his phone in the afternoon, and I was supposed to pick him up at 6 and bring him home, and at 6 nobody was answering either phone. And it turns out that because the hospital had a screw-up in their scheduling, that the anesthesiologist, they couldn't get an anesthesiologist until about 6 p.m. on Saturday, so he was operated on Saturday night and stayed overnight. And Cameron and I went and picked him up at the hospital on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And he's okay. I had coffee with him this morning after I took Cameron to the airport. And it was nice. It was nice. He's comfortable again, and so that's what's going on this coming week. I hope to speak to Laura. I got my blood results from my doctor for my last checkup at, it was my 1-year checkup. And the nurse left me a message on my phone, and she didn't give me the exact numbers, which I'll call back and get. But she did say that my testosterone was nice and low, and my estrogen was nice and high or something. So I don't know whether I'm in the high part of normal or in the middle of normal or low normal. It actually would be best if I was somewhat at medium normal. High normal can suggest that there may be problems down the road. But anyway, my breasts are developing, and I just feel wonderfully feminine, and I'm very happy. So I hope everyone that watches this is happy. I hope if you're one of us who dresses that you're staying pretty and being nice to yourself and being safe. Remember to be safe, okay? And I will update this as soon as I have any information worth updating. And thank you all so much. Bye-bye.